Hi, I'm Nathanael Weiss of Wizard Foo, and I make a game called Songbringer, and you're listening to the Party Chat podcast.
When you're all ready, we'll do the final countdown. 3, 2, 1.
It's the final countdown.
Yeah, I'm doing the host, so what does Ross say again? Right.
Welcome, everybody, to the Party Chat podcast.
No, Clay, I'm pretty sure you mean hello and welcome to the Xbox One Party Chat podcast. The official...
One take, man.
Do it live!
Just roll it. Xbox on.
Game on, baby. Wow! Let's do this.
You see that? That's how you introduce a podcast. Hello and welcome to the Xbox One Party Chat podcast. It's the official podcast of the Xbox One subreddit. I'm this week's host, Rhys, aka Delicious Cheese, and I really just want to say my name like that for a very long time. Ross could not be with us this evening because he is really, really, really lazy and thinks he's having something called a holiday. Clay, have you heard of that before?
I don't know what holidays are. Here in the States, we take vacations, so...
Oh, yeah. That was bait, and you took that really nicely. But yeah, so, joining me this evening is Clay Parker, a.k.a. Uncle Jessy. What is up?
Don't ever use my full name again, child!
Oh, shit, I totally used your full name.
I'm teasing.
I swore, too. I have to edit that out, because I'm doing the podcast.
Well, now you really swore. One take, my brand.
It's okay. I can swear all I want. That's not a swear word, is it?
Oh, man.
Anyway, and also Carina. Hi, Carina. How are you? You really do need a nickname.
I do.
Retro Crystal.
I don't know what to call myself.
I prefer. I still like Carina Stormbringer. So
Carina Stormbringer?
I don't know. For some reason, I always think of Daenerys from Game of Thrones.
Well, I mean, she looks like her.
I'll take
with
that.
the blonde.
It's the hair.
That. Oh, yeah. I won't be blonde from next month, but you can carry on.
Oh no! Are you telling me that your natural hair is not silver and platinum-ish?
No. Horrors.
Lie. I've been sold a lie.
It's all disguise.
Well, moving on from that crushing disappointment, we should probably actually do the podcast, and we normally start the podcast off by talking about what we have been playing.
Before we do that, no. Before we do that, why don't you let everybody know who our special guest is later in the podcast?
That's probably a good idea. One Nathanael Weiss. Weiss? Was it Weiss?
It's Weiss.
Nathanael Weiss, a.k.a. Wizard Foo, the one-man army who had developed a video game all on his own, the video game in question, of course, being Songbringer, and we will be interviewing him, as Clay mentioned, so eloquently, later on in the podcast, to make sure you stick around for that, and definitely don't skip ahead to that and then close the podcast, listen to the whole thing, please. And yeah, so normally we start this off by what we've been playing, and I know what you've been playing, Carina, so I'm going to leave you to the last.
Oh.
Because you're going to need some time to explain this. So I'll just go straight ahead and swing the ball to you. Clay, what have you been playing?
Hydro Thunder!
You were waiting the whole podcast to say that, weren't you?
I have. I've been waiting the whole time to see that. You know what's funny is I almost forgot that I was playing that over the weekend too. And I was like, all I've been playing is Rainbow Six Siege. They got some new operators, they got a new map, they got a whole update that went out. Oh, wait a minute. I played a whole lot of Hydro Thunder over the weekend. That's right.
So tell me about it. I've never played.
It's actually really
Everyone
fun.
on the podcast was like, Hydro Thunder is lit.
Yeah,
That was
it's
the
it's
thread
actually
of the week.
really fun. It's really fun, and that's my doorbell, by the way. I keep forgetting to mute that before coming on the pod. But
Okay, just leave the delivery guy out there. He's fine.
it's all right. It's all right. It's actually a motion sensor type thing, so it goes off way too often. But yeah, no, the game's crazy, crazy fun. For some reason, like I don't know what it is about that game. It just keeps making me want to go back in and play more of it and redo the track over and over again with the different
one of those.
yeah, especially with the different boats that you can unlock. And I don't know. And there's all sorts of different secret passages. I'll be playing and I'm like, wait a minute, I just noticed something. Can I go through there? It's totally big time arcade racing game. It seems like it would be a great game for a party, and if you have a bunch of friends over. I don't have friends, so I wouldn't know how that goes. But
Is it anything like Daytona, USA?
Oh man, you know what I was just telling somebody about was Rolling Start. You know how they used to
Rolling Start.
They had no idea what I was talking about, by the way. It's like I have fond memories of being in the arcade, having Daytona racing, and playing that. It was Rolling Start. I don't know. Sorry, that's. But it's the same kind.
Right.
It's that same. You know, it's a throwback to that sort of style where it's if I had a huge, massive chair that I could sit in that looked like it was a boat and a TV screen right in front of my face, I feel like I was back in the arcade.
You're just gonna go and like buy like a rowboat and like just convert it like into the middle of your living room for the full experience.
Yeah, basically. And then the other. Sadly, Ross isn't on. I was excited to talk with Ross about it. I've also picked back up Gears of War 4, and I am bound and determined to finally finish the single player campaign this week. It's just not holding my attention. I'm sorry to say,
it's not as good as the originals. It's really not, if I'm honest. Whoever designed those lightning field sections, they should probably go and like chew on a handful of Zyklon B tablets, because like that's awful. But it's not bad. I had a good time in split screen.
You know what I was also messaging you, Rhys, about over the weekend was I was like literally about to purchase a 4K TV over the weekend. The big one
But you didn't?
Big one. I didn't. It's the one that's like the TCL one that everybody's been raving around. It's I think $600. It's 55-inch, which isn't huge, but it's a good size for gaming. Has really great picture quality and really good for gaming, and has HDR. And I went that same day I was back home playing. I was playing Gears of War, and I was like, son of a bitch, I could be playing this in HDR right now, and I bet it would be so much better.
But you got to time it right to sneak it past your wife, right?
That is 110% true. I was like, if I buy this, how can I get it back in the house undetected? All right, I'm going to leave it behind the house and then act like I'm going out to do some yard work and then sneak it through the back door. She'll never notice in the account, right?
Yeah,
that there's $600
she's not going to walk
missing.
inside and see the television or anything and be like,
I don't have to worry about that. She doesn't go in the
won't
basement.
ask any questions.
She knows not to go down to the basement.
Okay. Will she get the hose again if she does?
Let's not go that far. So, Rhys, what about you?
So, I've been playing a lot of Songbringer, actually, which is good. I enjoy it quite a bit. It's bloody hard. The gameplay is a lot like Zelda, and it looks really simple, but the animations are really well detailed and kind of slow. So it lends itself to a sort of slower paced combat, a bit like Dark Souls. I hate using like Dark Souls. The Dark Souls of anything has become a meme, but So, when you play Dark Souls, it's you play slowly and carefully because you know that your blows are slow and you have to time yourself to connect the hits, basically, or you get wrecked. And it's like that. But it's a really cool game, really atmospheric, and it looks gorgeous in motion. It really is great. I was enjoying that a lot. And I also was playing, because, it was some reason it was a retro week for me, playing Sonic Mania.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah. Have either of you two played that?
No, not yet. Looks fun though.
Clay, no?
No, I was debating on picking it up since it's only $20, but I have not picked it up yet.
Okay. So, Clay, you're the old man like me. Did you play Sonic as a kid, or were you a Nintendo kid?
I played Sonic as a kid. What kind of kid do you think I was? Yeah, of course played Sonic. Love the shit out of Sonic.
Well, I mean, if you were a Nintendo kid, then you can't be seen playing Sonic, and you can't admit to that.
All right, I might have been a little spoiled as a kid. I had both Nintendo and Sega.
Ew.
Yeah,
Was that even allowed? I'm pretty sure you can get tried in The Hague for that.
It's
what about you, Carina? Did you
you
play
I was
Sonic?
Nintendo. No, I was more. I've seen it, and I had friends that had Segas, but no, I was more Nintendo, more your GameCube, Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
Nintendo 64.
Well, it's pretty common knowledge that the first 3 Sonic games are great, and everything else after that is a hot steaming pile of garbage on fire, and the fire is made of fail. But this is just a complete return to form. It's basically Sonic 4. They use the same old art style, but they've revitalized it with these really amazing animations and really amazing backgrounds, and they've got the same old cheesy sort of Sega Daytona racing style of jazzy sort of upbeat music that they had back then, but they've modernized it and made it made it modern, but still not different. And it's just more Sonic. It's so fast. Like some levels, you just go on I'm just sitting there going, I have no idea where I'm going because you just get shot all over the map. But it's really fun, and it's 2-player cooperative local. So I've been playing that with my girlfriend as Tails. It's just one of those funny games that you don't really play. You just get flung around the map and hope that you don't, and then all of a sudden you get hit, crash into a wall, and you're like, oh, the illusion has been shattered. I got to go fast again. It's Sonic. It's great. I've been having a great time playing that. It's Sonic.
Sonic.
Do you remember the cartoon? Gotta go fast. Gotta go fast.
Dude, my kid watches the Sonic cartoons. So there's Sonic Boom. Then he watches all of those. What is it? Late 80s, early 90s, classic Sonic. Yeah, there's I think 2 different ones, Sonic and Friends. I can't remember. They're all on Netflix here, or Netflix or something, Hulu, one of those, and watches those. My kid loves Sonic, and I'm on eBay constantly looking for Sonic toys for him.
Why haven't you got Sonic Mania then? Get him some
because
Sonic Mania.
How dare you say?
As a parent, I'm going to go into father mode now, folks.
Oh, okay, I'm ready.
As a parent,
lay it on me, Dad.
I limit the amount of video game time my 6-year-old has. So we have Mario Kart. He has Sonic Generations on the 360, and I don't let him really play Zelda on the Switch yet. And we will soon be picking up Mario Odyssey. That's the next game, and that's probably the last game for the year. Those 3, I'll let him play. We're just very trying to not get him overly hooked on the video game. So we very much limit the time. It's only a few times a week that he can go on there and play, and it's really sort of a special treat when he's done really well at school and done his chores and not beaten up his little brother, that sort of thing.
So what you're telling me is you're the worst father in America.
What I'm telling you is, which is scary. We also have the Nintendo. What's it? The Nintendo Clap. What did they come out with? The retro one.
The NES Mini.
Yeah, the Mini. So we have one of those that I love the crap out of playing and watching him. It's taken a handful of months for him just to get used to not using an iPad to play games, but actually holding a controller and pressing some of his hand, how he holds the controller. Like, what are you doing? Why are you holding the controller that way? It's so foreign to him holding a controller and playing a game that way. He's so comfortable on an iPad, throwing Angry Birds or whatever it may be anywhere.
Hey, that's like 1/4 of Finland's GDP. So buy all the Angry Birds merch and also buy all the Supercell merchandise, please.
Woohoo!
Okay, no, but that's neat. We just learned how to be a father. So I suppose now we've learned that clay is just awful. We should probably learn about Destiny 2.
Yay!
Don't
Tell us
so
all about the
excited.
Destinies.
The
Yes.
Destinies.
Lay it on me.
Oh, it's so good. You guys need to buy it. Please buy it.
Did you not see my tweet?
Have you bought it?
No. My tweet says, everybody on my Twitter feed, Destiny 2 is amazing. You have to buy it. Buy it right now. Me. Oh, so you're going to buy it for me then? Everyone else. No.
Oh, that costs.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's so good. I mean, I've played it. It came out midnight on Tuesday night. Officially Wednesday, and I've played it non-stop. Other than I think Saturday because I moved. Other than that, I've been playing it non-stop whatsoever. And honestly, the most satisfying thing was we were doing a nightfall. They've just I don't want to spoil it too much, but if you will reach a certain level, you will knock the strikes in the nightfalls. And
What's a nightfall?
Nightfall is it's like an extreme strike, so it's a mission, but it's got limitations. So basically, this one had element effects, so it'll randomly say in the corner like solar, arc, void. So if you've got them type of guns, you do extra damage, etc. But at the same time, you had to do the nightfall in 10 minutes, or else you just fail and you just have to start all over again. So you can get right to the end and not make it, and you have to start it all again. It's really, really frustrating. But no, we I think me, Ross, and who else? Bob. Were playing earlier, and we did about 4 or 5 attempts before we managed to make it. Honestly, I think we all just shouted in happiness and relief when we finally did it. But no, I think a lot of the stuff in Destiny is satisfaction just for like completing things.
No, I understand that completely. I played the first Destiny, and I remember when they opened the Vault of Glass. It was like a big event.
Yeah.
And on the very first weekend, and I had a full team ready to go of people from the subreddit, actually.
Oh, nice.
And no one had beaten it, so everybody was just trying to figure out how to beat it, racing basically. And we played for hours, maybe 8-9 hours, just smashing our faces over and over and over at the problem, trying to figure it out. And when we finally actually beat it, took us a whole month, I think, to actually finally be able to beat the final boss.
Is massive. It's a really, really long raid.
Yeah, and the final boss is just insane. If you don't know the mechanics, you can't win. It's not something you can just guess your way through. And yeah, when we finally beat that, it was a great feeling.
Yeah, that's what we're waiting for, because I think the raids get released on Wednesday, so by the time this pod's released, the raids would be out probably 24 hours. Well, just under 20, less than 24 hours. And then Trials of Osiris, I think, are back, but that's this weekend. But I think a few of us are going to try and be the first team to complete it, if there's enough of us to do it. But we'll have to see. But no, Destiny 2 is everything that everyone wanted it to be. Bungie have finally listened. The maps you'd have to go back to orbit. So every time, something you've got to go back. It's go back to orbit, then fly to the planet. You can just go direct. And they have fast travel now because the planets are a lot bigger. But it's a bit more open world based, which is quite nice. And the guns, you can add modifications now, which is always fun and can be interesting because once you've used them, that's it. If you want to change it, it destroys whatever you've already got on the gun. That's always interesting.
So it doesn't if you already had a scope on there or something like that, and you change it, you've lost that item, or?
Yeah, so essentially at the moment the ones that I've seen are where you'll either add 5 defense, which will help your light, or it'll be it'll change. For example, if you have a solar weapon but you want to change it to an arc or void weapon, you can put that modification. If you've got it, you can put that modification on. But once you've put one on, if you replace it, it gets rid of the first one. That's it, it's gone. So so you do have to use them wisely. So at the moment, I'm kind of holding on. I'm waiting because I think the level cap is 350. So I'm waiting to get to that level and then decide what guns I like, what armor I like, and then shade it all up and make it look nice, and then add everything to it. But it's a lot.
And buy all the best dance emotes.
Oh yeah, everyone has dance offs. I think half of the game is dance-offs. Like, who cares about the missions?
That's why I really like that Japanese trailer for Destiny that I posted on the sub. You should have seen the backlash I got for that. People calling me a shill. It's like, come on, Activision, where's my paycheck, guys?
Exactly. I was like,
hand it over.
Everyone loves the dancer. But no, the storyline as well is a lot better. Now, for example, I don't want to spoil it too much because it is a big part. But when you unlock your subclasses, I'm not saying how because that's changed. But when you get to the subclass mission, you learn a lot about the light because the whole story focuses more on the Traveler and the light and the Cabal. But no, I'd advise people if you're doing a subclass mission. Even though you could supposedly skip what's being said, just listen because it goes really deep into the story, and it's quite interesting. Like I'm one of those that skip through. You know, I'm one of them that just spam the button until the talking stops. But no, seriously,
to get back to shooting things.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not here to talk. I'm here to like pew people, pew. But no, it's so much better. And honestly, like even if you don't want to watch someone play it and then decide because it's honestly amazing. But you can't choose things on the Crucible though at the moment.
Carina, how's the loot?
Go on, the loot's good. There's lots of loot. There's more loot actually.
How's the loot? It's good.
Everyone likes loot. That's what you play for. You play.
You're like, I'm all blinged out right now. What are you talking about? I'm loving it.
Exactly. Pimp my armor. You actually do. There's a lot more shaders now, but you have to. You used to be able to with shaders. You used to be able to kind of like just swap here and there, but now the shaders are items. So if you use them on a weapon, that's it. They're used. So you can't switch between all the time. So if you played Destiny 1, you could just you could flick back and forth and be like, oh no, I don't like that anymore. I'm bored. Let's change it to a different color. But now you have to pay with Glimmer to use your shader, and then once you've used it, you've used it.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that you can buy those glimmers with microtransaction monies.
Nope. Glimmer. To be fair though, you get so much glimmer in the game. So for shaders, it's not a big issue. I'm pretty sure a lot of people
that sounds like microtransaction bait to me.
There's one small microtransaction bait. There's a thing called bright engrams. So obviously you have your rare, your legendary, your exotic. There's a new one called bright engrams, where you can actually buy silver in relation to them, so you can buy bright engrams or unlock stuff. However, to get a bright engram, once you get to the level cap of level 20, because there's a level cap of 20 and then a light cap of 350. But once you hit the level cap, every time you level up, you get a free bright engram. So you don't have to buy them, because you can't earn them.
I'm doing the hand, like I'm waving my hand over my head, like I have no idea what she's talking about.
You're saying level caps and then leveling up. What?
Okay, so...
When you hit the level cap, you can no longer level. That's what a level cap is.
Yeah, the level cap is your XP, so it's just grinding, killing enemies, and you get to level 20. But then because what happens is every level you'd get like a free engram as a reward or some piece of armor. But when you get to level 20, you essentially can't level up. So what it does is when you get a certain amount of XP, for example, if you've played Overwatch, when you every time you level up, you get a loot box. It's just the same, but you get like a bright engram instead of a loot box. And then the light cap is like an overall armor weapon level, I'm guessing. I don't know the best way to explain it other than...
It's like your power level in Warhammer 40k. Mm.
Yeah, it's like how strong you are, ability-wise.
That was, I think, the nerdiest reference I ever made.
Oh, that is very nerdy. That's like a whole nother level of nerd that I'm not
Says
into.
The professional 3D printer / cosplayer.
Hey. Let's not go down that path.
Dude, that sword is amazing.
Thank you. I've got a...
Oh, I need to look at that properly. I saw, I think you posted a quick clip
wow.
and I saw it. Or a photo.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's massive. By accident,
wow.
It's massive.
By accident. Oh, right.
It's taller than my kids.
Aww.
Well, I mean, once you start printing it and then you realize, oh, crap, this is going to be too big. I can either bail on it halfway through or I can just let it roll and keep going with this.
Hashtag YOLO.
Oh, God.
Yeah. All right, you guys want to talk about some stories on the sub?
I suppose. I was happy to.
I'll be the Ross. I'll be the Ross.
You'll be the Ross.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about what's going on the subreddit.
You're listening to Xbox One Party Chat podcast. This week in the subreddit.
What's happening on the subreddit today, boys and girls?
Right, well, on the subreddit today, we should probably mention that Graham Boyd, aka Ashibongos, is leaving the UK to work at Xbox in the UK.
Ooh, that was a very not shifty. That's a bad thing. Not shifty. It wasn't shifty. His tweet was like, "Wait, what? Is he leaving Xbox?" And I was like, "Oh no, he's just moving."
I confessed, I panicked for a second there. Like,
I did
Graham,
too.
no.
I thought I was like, he was like, "All right, it's been really great," and I was like, "Wait, what? No."
What's happening here?
So yeah, moving stateside. That's cool. AC Bongos.
But the problem is now that we've lost AC Bongos, we who's the European Major Nelson now? I wonder. Because I can't
Maybe
think
they'll
of
pull somebody from Xbox UK, like the
Maybe.
the YouTube.
I mean,
YouTubes.
Bear used to be pretty great from Xbox UK, but now he works for Lego. So it'll be interesting to see who they get to replace him, or if they just abandon Europe forever. That would. But I'm not bitter. But yeah, it will be interesting to see who he replaces him. But this is obviously good news for Graham. It means he's getting a promotion, I would suspect.
Yeah. You know what I heard? I heard rumors of. So Major does his weekly this week on Xbox, and I've heard Graham is going to be taking up my old show last week on Xbox.
Last week on Xbox Live? On the subreddit?
Yeah, on the subreddit. That's why he's coming over stateside. I'm like setting him up with all the stuff that he needs, and he's gonna just roll with it, right?
Yeah, that sounds completely legit. I don't doubt that at all.
But seriously, I actually thought that maybe since Major did just have his first kid, that maybe he's gonna be helping stand in every once in a while to give Major a break on those recordings or help out with the events, because Major's all over the place for these not trade shows, they're shows that they have.
Yeah, that makes perfect
releases
sense.
And all that stuff.
Yeah, no, but well, congratulations, Graham. You've been on the podcast a couple times, and I do know you listen in, so congrats.
Congrats.
That was supposed to lead in really smoothly to me getting to the next topic. So you guys can see that Ross is not here, and we're completely unprepared.
We are literally completely unprepared.
I have 6 tabs open. I don't even have notes. So why don't we talk about Stormlands and the Million Man Raid, which is Obsidian's cancelled Xbox One exclusive, and it was allegedly the largest deal that Obsidian had ever signed, and it was supposed to be an open world sort of RPG game. A lot of people are saying it was a bit like The Witcher.
A bit like The Witcher, but not going to be as good as The Witcher, so they had to cancel it?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
That stinks. I know no one wants to hear about exclusives for the Xbox going by the wayside, but if it's in the best interest of the gamers, which I'm sure it was, I would rather them not put out an absolutely craptastic game for us and waste it on an exclusive.
Right. But there's a really huge and really long and well-written article about it at Eurogamer.net, if anyone's curious. It's actually quite fascinating. They talk about the game itself and what it could have been and what it was originally about, and it's just all fairly interesting. I love Obsidian. They're one of my favorite developers, just because they make, they're so good at writing. They're awful at video games, I'm going to be honest. The video games they make are so glitchy and so buggy and so broken. It's not funny.
Can you name a few? For some reason I'm drawing a blank on
Sure.
Obsidian games.
So my favorite Obsidian game of all time is Fallout New Vegas, which is so much better than Fallout 3. Because the guys from Obsidian actually were a part of the original Fallout crew. So they understand Fallout, whereas Bethesda are just sort of, puppeteering a dead guy. What else was a Obsidian game? It was that RPG on the 360 where you played a spy.
Spy vs. Spy.
No. Alpha Protocol for the 360.
Oh, yeah. I remember that game.
Yeah, which was incredibly buggy and broken, but a really good story. And that's the story of all of their games. Fallout New Vegas, buggy, broken, amazing game. They made their most recent game was the top-down RPG Pillars of Eternity, which was really popular. And they also made the Dungeon Siege series and also Neverwinter Nights. Like they're like, classic RPG sort of dudes, and yeah, basically they're really, really good at writing. So I think it would have at least been an interesting story.
I concur.
I was like, okay, so no one has anything to offer then. Let's
Nothing else to add to that. I'm sorry.
You know what?
I gave my 2 cents.
No. You had your chance and it's gone. We're just going to cut to the interview now and hope that the podcast gets better after this.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Xbox Snap this week's interview.
All right, everybody, welcome back to this week's interview. We have a super cool guest for you today. We have the one and only Wizard Foo, aka Nathanael Weiss, the solo developer who just released Songbringer on the Xbox One. Nathanael, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
It's fantastic to have you here. Now, normally, I start the podcast interview off by asking, us to tell you a little bit about, who you are and what it is that you do at Wizard Foo. But we all know the answer is everything. So instead, how about you tell us a little bit about, yourself and your history as a games developer?
Oh, all right. Well, I started making games at the wee age of 15 years old. In high school, I made these silly games, but this was way back in the day, man. I was programming in the C language for like making DOS games. And here we are 20 some years later, and I learned to make music along the way. And just recently I finally learned to make art, and now I'm kind of just this one-man band game developer.
Neat.
Badass.
So that's pretty cool. Seeing as you've just launched your very first game, how would you describe it for anyone who doesn't know about it?
Well, Songbringer is kind of a procedural, sort of Zelda-structured video game. It's basically meant to feel sort of like an old school action RPG, almost like an 8-bit or 16-bit action RPG, but with procedural elements, so it can sort of surprise you with the locations of secrets and where things are in the overworld and the layout of dungeons and the order of bosses and stuff like that.
That sounds sweet. So that basically means all those strategy guidists out there, good luck with this one. Right?
Well, what it really means is the strategy guide can be written for one world, but it has to be written for every world. So every world needs a strategy guide, basically.
So how many combinations do you get out of six letters?
Oh, there's technically over 300 million combinations.
So they had best get writing then.
Yeah.
Someone better get started.
Yeah.
So you'll have a library dedicated to just strategy guides for this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a question that I'm sure no one has ever asked you before. Why the hell did you decide to make this entire game yourself? I mean, it's honestly a massive achievement. What the heck inspired you to take on such a task?
Oh, well, thank you for the compliment. To put it simply, like, I wanted to create something pure. Like, as a creator or an artist or whatever, sometimes like developing something in a team is like playing that child's game Telephone. You know that game where you whisper something to somebody and they whisper it to someone else, and by the time you get to the end, it's like a completely different thing. Developing in a team can kind of be like that, you know what I mean? Like you have this vision for something, but it doesn't ever quite get done how you thought. So I just wanted to kind of skip all that and be the one that created everything, and just to, like, from the music to the art to the programming, everything, I either get it how I wanted it to be, or else it just morphs into something else. And I don't know. It's a really pure and rewarding experience, but also it's just kind of a way of being, I don't know, sure that it can happen on a tiny budget. I'm an indie to the core and working on the tiniest budget I can to make this all happen. So it was kind of easy to. It's lightweight. It's a really lightweight development team. Let's say that.
So how
So
many?
you're basically telling everybody you have control issues. That's what it is, right?
That's it. That's actually what it is.
So how many packets of instant ramen did you eat during development?
Oh man, 0. Actually,
Oh, okay.
I do cook all my own rice and beans though. I eat a lot of rice and beans.
There we go.
Sorry, I'm just riffing on the old indie diet there.
Yeah.
So saying you're a bit self-taught, you mentioned the music beforehand. What would you say is your favorite bit of the whole development, or least favorite if there was something that you did and just absolutely hated in the end?
Oh well, I guess favorite part would probably be music actually, because it's so, ah man, it's so satisfying. I love smoking weed and just making music. It's so great. And but then, the least satisfying part is I guess, well, it's not really that it's the least satisfying, but it's just the most technically demanding is the programming. It's so time consuming and the bugs are endless and things like that. But still, I love programming. It's a really creative but yet engineering-y type thing,
Engineering-y, I think I know. But I can definitely see the influence behind the music. Listening to it, it's so wild and psychedelic, and it's crazy. I really am a big fan of the soundtrack, and normally I'm not into sort of like chip tunes. It's like it's cool, but you clearly had to teach yourself quite a few new skills while making this. Not everyone knows how to do all of these things. What do you think was the most interesting or maybe the most challenging thing to teach yourself?
Well, the most challenging thing was art. That was the newest skill for me, and the thing that I always doubted for the longest time. I was like, I don't have art skills. There's no way. I'm a programmer. The best I can ever manage is programmer art. So it was basically just that process of overcoming doubt and just learning to make art that was the most challenging, but also the most rewarding. Because if I hadn't done that, this whole project wouldn't have been possible.
That's incredible. It is really, I mean, it's just, I can't believe you're saying you're doubting your skills. When I look at the game, it's very, very coolly stylized. It's got that sort of top downish pixel retro look to it that is just awesome. I mean, I just love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. And I was going to ask you, it was clearly Zelda was an inspiration for this, and what made you kind of want to dip your toes into this genre of game?
Well, I
guess it's more than dip your toes, by the way.
Yeah.
You dove head first. Way into the deep end.
Yeah. Well, Zelda has always been a great love of mine. I from the very first one, but especially A Link to the Past, I guess, was the one that really got me at first. Was those old Zelda games, the 8-bit and 16-bit ones. There's something really special and magical about that, and I love the 2D gameplay style too. But the challenge I always had with Zelda was that, as a kid, it was really amazing and magical for me. But then in my 20s, Zelda series sort of started getting more linear and forcing you to make certain choices and sticking you in these tutorial areas and holding your hand a bit. And I hated that. And I wanted to create something that felt a lot like those original Zeldas and embraced the concept of letting players explore however the hell they want, and just the concept of permissiveness, allowing people to go anywhere, complete dungeons out of order. But also, the one thing I really wanted to do was provide a way so that players could solve every single challenge that they're faced with multiple solutions. So there's there's all these gate blocks in the world where you have to get an item that allows you to get past that certain block. But every one of those has multiple solutions to it. There's not just one item that can get past it. There's multiple. So it's that power of choice.
That's actually a really good answer. I'm quite impressed now. Clayton sort of touched on the visual style, and I wanted to ask you a little bit more because it's very in my opinion, it's very heavy metal, like not like those like the classic comic books from the late 70s and the 80s. What inspired the art style? Was it like those old style sort of over the top cheeseball 70s 80s sci-fi things, or what?
That's really cool you say that because I love that kind of art. But really, what inspired it the most was sort of the modern take on pixel art that you see in games like Sword and Sorcery, and games like Crawl, and those when they take these old, big, chunky sized pixels and then combine it with today's modern shaders and 32-bit colors, and they create something that is just so striking and visually appealing. I don't know. I love that. And what's really cool about pixel art to me is that it just screams game. You know what I mean? You can look at a piece of pixel art for half a second, 250 milliseconds, and instantly that it's a video game. Whereas if you were to look at something else that's not pixel art, and maybe it's one of these today's modern shooters or 3D games, you might wonder for a second, is this a video game or is this a movie?
Forza screenshots, for example.
Right.
Speaking about the style that you use, did it change a lot, or especially your characters? Like, were they supposedly meant to be one thing and turned out totally different?
Well, the style did grow a lot, that's for sure. Like if you look at, I've been posting artwork and GIFs and things like that for the entire process, from day one, even when it was just a brown screen with a single character on it. And it looked horrible back then. There was no shaders. I was not a really good artist back then. So it really grew with an iterative process. And I did a lot of live streams. And that's one way that I got better as an artist, because I would be doing the art live. People would be giving me feedback and saying, it could look better. And what really helped was I was telling you guys about how I just really didn't believe in my art skills. But people started giving me compliments on the live streams and saying your art is really great. And I thought, really? That's crazy. And so just that little encouragement helped me to kind of make it all better. But as far as like characters that changed along the way and things like that, it really was kind of an experimental process. I didn't even have plans for the spirit guide. You have this one character in the game which is kind of like your spirit guide, and he wasn't even in the game till halfway through it. So it really did kind of change and grow over time.
Let's sort of swing back to the music while we're still talking about the aesthetics of the game. One thing I have heard you mention in another interview is that the music is procedural. Is that correct?
Yes.
How do you design procedural music and have it not sound like garbage?
Well, see, first of all, it's not entirely procedural. So it's just the melody. So basically the rhythm is always the same. So I can kind of what I do is I actually write a song as you would a normal song. You create the rhythm, create the melody and stuff like that. And then I just basically take the melody portion of the song and render it out like 12 different times. So every single note of the musical key is rendered out, and then that's done for sometimes multiple times per song. So like the song might have 4 different notes that all have to be exported out 12 times. So there's like 48 different files that go into the song. But having all those, basically at runtime, the game can choose, okay, I'm in this world seed and I'm in this dungeon number, so the music can be in this key. And basically the melody changes just a little bit depending on your world seed.
So I was going to ask you, what's up with the hallucinogenic cactus?
Well, I wanted to create sort of a game that had really lighthearted lighthearted characters that were about partying and traveling and going around the galaxy and stuff like that. But I also wanted to create like something with a deeper spiritual sort of meaning to it all, and saving the universe from evil and things like that. So it's kind of a way of blending that lightheartedness with that deeper spiritual stuff.
I mean, speaking about the design, did you ever have any creative blocks whilst designing, or was that when you then turned to live streaming?
No, I gotta be honest with you. Creativity is my greatest strength. I've never really had a problem with creative blocks. It's just, I have tons of ideas. Ideas are so easy to think of. It's just, my biggest problem is choosing which ones to do.
How do you decide then? Do you have a way, or do you just literally go eeny, meeny, miny, mo?
I kind of just like do whichever one sounds exciting the most.
Can you tell us some of your favorite seed worlds for any of our listeners who are actually playing the game and wondering, what are some cool seeds?
Well, one of my favorites lately is Wizard. Because
you totally cheated with that, didn't you?
Yeah. You would think that I would have cheated for some of these worlds, but no, I didn't actually. But this one, Wizard, is actually a pretty good one for speed running. But then there's another special one that I'll let people know. This is a secret sort of Easter egg world. If you start with the world seed Vell, Velle, it's the name of one of the characters in the game. But that is a sort of, it starts you off with this second playable character. You got two characters in the game. Your main hero, his name's Rock, and then you got this little robot named Jib, who's his little friend, and he's a helper, and he helps you out by scanning and finding items for you. So, but later on in the game, you get Vell. You unlock her, and she has this powerful attack ability, and that allows you to kind of finish the game with her. But so it's a trade-off. Once you finally get her, you don't have Jib's abilities anymore. But when you start the game with the Vell world seed, you start with Vell. So it's all backwards. Like you can no longer find items throughout the whole game, but yet you have her attack power. So it's an interesting world seed.
That's pretty cool. I played on cheese and got my ass handed to me by the last boss. Basically, wanted to throw my controller at the screen and never speak of this game again. So then because it's sort of like roguelike almost in its design. I did what everyone else does at the point of extreme frustration when you're playing any roguelike. It's inevitable. I just started again with a different seed. This new one seems to be doing a lot easier, but it could just be me that not like stumbling into the enemies and stuff like I was in the beginning.
Yeah, you know what? You're getting better. That's how it is with just like I remember playing Hollow Knight and thinking the same thing. Like Hollow Knight is an amazing game, but it's difficult. And there were times where I thought there's no way I could possibly beat this boss, but just taking a little break and like maybe going and find some other items and stuff like that and getting more powerful and then coming back to it, I was like, whoa, somehow I beat that guy now. And I finally realized that that's just because I got better,
Power was inside you.
Yeah.
Did I hear rumors that you wrote a book?
Well, I did write some books on on how to make games and stuff. I really was for a while I was making these game kits sort of. So I would like write some basic code for a game, and then I would write lots of documentation about it, but then also write a book about how to actually write your own game. And so it was more like little technical guides that I used to basically make a living for a little while. And but then I finally realized that I was either going to make video games or I was going to make these game kits about making video games. And I realized that I wanted to make video games really bad. So I gave that a shot instead.
If any of our listeners are interested, what are the names of where can they find some of those kits that you?
They're no longer for sale. They kind of all petered out. And really, yeah. Nobody bought them anymore. People bought them for a little while, but then nobody bought them. So.
But you do have a blog, right? And I know you did all this live streaming and stuff. Is all of that archived? If anyone is interested in going back and watching the game, maybe be unmade, watch it in reverse or whatever.
Yeah. So it's all on YouTube. It's on my channel. My channel name is Nat Weiss, Natweiss. But yeah, there's links to it too from Songbringer.com. So you can just find my YouTube channel there. And yeah, but there's like over 600 videos so far of making Songbringer. And there are all these live streams I did. And some of them are like offline videos and things like that. But they're all like an hour or two long. So you better get started quick because it's going to take you weeks
I think
to get through it.
Awesome.
You're underestimating my free time. But I just as an anecdote, I know one other solo developer who we've had do an AMA because you just recently did one on the Xbox One subreddit earlier, and he also did one. And he's from Portugal, and he made a little tiny game called Quest of Dungeons. It's like a little roguelike top-down sort of thing, but it's turn-based instead of real time. And I know for a fact that he would be interested to read your fellow solo developer struggles.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'll definitely link him to that. But basically, that's all the time we have for you. But we have one final question. We've been fairly casual, joking, having a laugh, not asking anything, truly challenging, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to apologize in advance because this is some serious, hard-hitting video game journalism, okay? So I hope you're ready for this question.
All right.
All right, you ready?
Give it to me.
All right, it's coming. All right, here we go. Which classic video game character could you knock out with one punch?
Oh.
We asked this of all our guests, so it's very important.
Ooh. I think Luigi is kind of like a really spindly, short little guy.
Oh, dude,
I could knock Luigi out in one punch.
Have you seen Luigi in Mario Kart 8, the death stare? Are you sure? Are you sure? There is a darkness there, man. Are you sure you want to mess with that?
I don't know. If I saw him look me in the eye like that, I might be scared.
I'm just kidding. But thanks so much. You've been a great sport. So basically, before we go, we might as well pimp your game while you're here. Where can people find you?
Well, yeah. So it's songbringer.com. It's got all the links there to the Steam version, the GOG version, the PlayStation version, and the Xbox version.
Sweet. Well, in that case, thank you so much for your time, and good luck with your future endeavors, and we'll see you next time. So, we're back. That was a cool interview. Very, very chilled kind of dude. Nathanael is, or Nate. So thanks for joining us. You're looking forward to playing the game, Clay, I hear?
I am like crazy excited to play the game. I won't lie. I went into the interview not. I always like to typically have played, or at least tried to have played the games before we jump on these interviews. And this one I have not had a chance. And for anyone out there, I would highly, highly recommend at least checking out a trailer for the game. It's like it looks so friggin' cool. The pixel art, and it's a Zelda style. It's like right up my alley in terms of cool. Gameplay. I mean, it looks really cool, and I really like how we've seen the procedurally generated music. I had no idea that was even possible.
Yeah, it's really cool. The game's music is really atmospheric and sort of droning and almost kind of scary in a way. It reminds me a little bit of Fez. It like has this real atmosphere of confusion and mystery and a little bit of dread in there. It's quite cool. But the good news is, for anyone listening, is I actually happen to have a spare copy of Songbringer to give away, which we are going to be doing on Twitter. So stick around on our Twitters to make sure that you have a chance to win a copy and you check it out for yourself. And I think what we should do is, if we're going to play this game, all of us, we should pick a seed, and all of the podcast hosts and any of you guys listening should play the same seed and see how far we can get. What do you guys think about
I
that?
like that.
Ooh.
I like
How many
that.
letters does it have to be?
So it has to be 6 letters.
P-A-R-T. Oh, that's 5. Oh, parties.
P-A-R-T-Y.
I was going to say party, but I was like, that's
Parties.
too... Oh,
X-B-O-X.
podcast. No, that's too many.
X-B-O-X-O-N. No, can't be that either. We have to
What
think
about
about this.
party? What about party C for party chat?
Party C?
Ooh, yeah.
Party C.
Party C.
All right, we're gonna make it Party C, Party-C. Any of you who have Songbringer or the winner and all of us enter that same seed and show us how far you got. I want screenshots and there might be some more prizes in my goodie bag for anybody who happens to impress me. Yes, but we should. That's I made that creepy. Weird. We should move on, I think, before I get any phone calls. What's next? So Microsoft is allegedly interested in sharing Rare Sea of Thieves water technology with PUBG. What do you guys think about that?
I think if they went along with it, it'd be... Because, I mean, the sea design in Sea of Thieves is brilliant. But I don't know... I feel like I don't want it being used for PUBG. Like, I feel like it should be in a different game. I don't know what game, but I just...
Hydro Thunder 2?
Yeah, possibly. Anything. I just feel like just PUBG isn't the place.
Clay?
I mean, I've never played the game yet, and I'm dying to get I'm dying to get my hands on full versions of both games. But I mean, all I've ever heard is high compliments about the water effects in Sea of Thieves. And what I've heard most about from Player Unknown Battleground
PUBG.
is, yes, thank you, PUBG, is the water effects in that game are absolutely horrendous. So, I mean, it would make a good trade-off, good combination. Maybe they can make it happen. And I'm just looking forward to getting my hands on both those games. I don't care.
Just give me the game.
Shared or not shared. I'm going to play both of them regardless.
Exactly.
Well, I think for me, it's
Hi,
like...
Emma.
I don't have any... Hi, Emma, yeah. I don't... Congrats on hiring some new people for the Sea of Thieves community team, by the way. Looking forward to dragging them onto the podcast. Kicking and screaming, no, we don't want to talk to the weirdos. Get on the pod. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, I like the props. You use the props.
Yeah.
I need to get some pirate props.
I got costumes here.
You've got a hat, haven't you?
I got a full costume, woman.
Oh, I'm sorry. I used to have a pirate costume, but it got a bit ruined.
Yeah, I went to Gamescom 2 years ago, dressed as in full pirate regalia, and hung out with the guys at Rare. My girlfriend too. So I have a spare lady pirate costume.
Oh, we need to like...
I mean, I could wear that too, but it doesn't fit so well.
Is that not your weekend? Your weekend outfit?
Yes, that's my weekend costume. But
that's how he goes grocery shopping.
Yeah, exactly.
These oranges look tasty.
Hey, you won't get scurvy.
Yeah, exactly. But so back to the topic at hand. What I was going to say is that the water technology is really neat, but like PUBG's on an island, so would you even see it? Like, there's no ship-to-ship combat in PUBG.
That's why I feel like it was a waste, because you don't. People do use the water, but they just use it for if they're trying to get away in a speedboat. But the water's the open place, so people just get sniped. They use it to hide underneath boats. So I don't feel like the water in PUBG is used for the right reasons. Maybe they should just do a PUBG map purely of water.
Well, I mean, did you ever play Battlefield 4?
Not really. I'm going to say I'm not a massive shooter, but then I play Destiny, so... Well,
I know you did, Clay, a lot, because we played it together, and I trolled the crap out of you. The level, what was it? The islands,
Yeah. I know which one you're talking about, with the 2 battle stations on both ends.
Yeah, and the big ship can crash into the...
Yep.
Anyway.
There was two water maps. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about now.
Yeah. The one with the battleship.
And then there's a big storm effect, and the boat, the huge battleship crash.
Towards the end of the game, for those who don't know, a big storm would break out, like a hurricane, and the waves on the sea would be huge, and so fighting in these huge waves on all the ships and jet skis and battleships and everything you can drive in in Battlefield was actually really cool. So it can work, I think. But then again, I don't know if PUBG is that chaotic. But, we'll see. Why not? Share and share alike. That or just give it to the Hydro Thunder devs.
Hydro Thunder 2.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Do you remember Wave Race 64?
Yeah, man. Wave Race had the best water effects ever.
When I saw that, I was like, is this real life? This can't be real.
I'm pretty sure I've got that. I bought a Nintendo 64 earlier on in the year, and I'm pretty sure I've got that to play. I just haven't got around to playing.
Make sure you check out Wave Race 64. Step into the shoes of like 14-year-old me and be like, whoa.
This is so cool. One of them.
See, I'm desperately trying to find what the next topic was. Well, here's a little tidbit for you while I look. And this one's, I'm just throwing it out to you, Carina. And that's Destiny 2 now has 1.2 million concurrent players across Xbox One and PS4.
Woo. Go Destiny.
That's quite
I need like a little like Destiny fanfare. Oh, to be honest, the music's really nice as well. I do listen. I like music in games.
Who's doing the music now? Because they fired Marty.
They fired him?
Yeah. Don't you remember that?
No.
They fired Marty and he kicked up a stink after Destiny 1.
Why did they fire? I didn't know this. Why did they fire him?
Because Bungie.
Well, okay.
I was like, how do I say this without being mean?
That's it. I get what you mean.
Questionable management decisions. Let's say that.
Fair enough.
But
Destiny 2 is good. The animations are really nice. Apparently, there's 2 intros depending on whether you use your character from Destiny 1, which is what I did, or if you start like a brand new one. Apparently, it's different intros. Oh, I didn't mention earlier. I've got one favourite bit. If you play Destiny 1 on the start of Destiny 2, it brings up all your memories. So of like basically, it says the date. So it had like, what was it? 2000. It was like September 2014. I did like the first strike with my friend Zion, and it like names all the users that you did the strike or the raid or whatever it was.
Really?
Yeah, which I thought was a really nice touch because I get like I like things like that.
No, that's actually super cool, right, Clay? Like that's amazing.
I would love it if all games did that. Will they? No.
but that's really cool. I think
no, it's great to be able to see a recap of a lot of those activities that you did in the first game.
And because it's a social game, the fact that it tells you who your friends were when you did it with them, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, cool. There's a choice, it's like you completed the most epic strike with XX_420_ blaze it _ everyday _XX. But, still, we're struggling. You can tell it's been a quiet news week, but it was a great interview, and we've had something that resembles a bit of a podcast here in between the interview section. So thanks for joining me tonight, guys.
Not a problem, comrade.
We do Russian accent. Okay, no problem. This is bad. I'm just going to end the podcast now. Please, someone shoot me. Ross, I'm sorry. This is definitely going to happen again every time you leave, so look forward to that. Xbox, turn off.
You're listening to Xbox One Party Chat Podcast, the official podcast of the Xbox One subreddit.
It's settled. Let's do this.
Alrighty, well then if everyone's good to go, we'll just get this show on the road. And I'll put on my podcasting voice and pretend to talk like I know something. All right, everybody, welcome back to this week's interview. We have a super cool guest for you today, the one and only Wizard Foo, aka Nathanael Weiss. Son of a bitch.
Weiss.
Damn it, I'll do the intro again. So,
finally, another American on the friggin' podcast. Thank you.
All you European bastards.
We've had a few European guests recently.